Fear Street 1978 starts off where the previous part Fear Street 1994 leaves off, with Deena and Josh talking to the sole survivor from the past after Deena breaks into the survivor's house out of desperation. She brings Sam with her and ties her up in the bathroom as she's possessed. The survivor, who's a recluse and is extra cautious around her home, now tells her story to them. We then see the main character Ziggy Berman, played by Sadie Sink, getting chased and bullied. They tie her to a tree, which is the tree that Sarah Fier was hanged from, and they say that she's possessed by the witch while bullying her. These bullies are brutal. One of them burns her with a lighter. One of the camp counselors saves her. We then see Cindy Berman, who is Ziggy's sister, played by Emily Rudd, who also plays Nami in the One Piece live adaptation. She's trying to get her friend to help her clean the outhouse, but her friend sees her as a prude and asks her to get drugs for her, then she'll help her. We then see Ziggy go to the nurse's office where she finds a book about the witch's mark. The nurse gives off a sort of eerie vibe about her. She tells Ziggy about her daughter Ruby, who killed 7 people including herself at a party. Cindy then goes on a walk with Ziggy and talks to her about not getting kicked out of camp. Ziggy reminds her that they're from Shadyside and bad things always happen to Shadysiders. Cindy and her boyfriend are cleaning the dining area, and then Sydney's boyfriend gets attacked by the nurse with a knife as she claims that she can't save them. The bullies from earlier then approach Ziggy and tell her they messed up her cabin. One of the counselors from earlier, Nick, who is the cop in the first part of this movie series, is then talked to by one of the cops as they are moving the nurse's body away, and is encouraged about his future career prospects of becoming a cop. Then all the campers have dinner, separated by Sunnyvale and Shadyside. One of the Sunnyvale counselors then announces a game of Capture the Flag where he claims Sunnyvale has never lost before. Ziggy and Cindy get into an argument and Cindy calls Ziggy a monster. Ziggy shows her vandalized cabin to Cindy, which has monster written all over it, claiming that's what they all say about me. Cindy goes with her boyfriend to the nurse's office to find evidence that her breakdown was caused by drugs, but they discover the book with the witch's mark on it. Her friend Alice from before joins her. She reads the book and finds a map of the campgrounds, which shows that the campgrounds are built on the same settlement from the 1600s. Cindy's boyfriend Tommy is plagued by visions at this point. We then see Nick go to Ziggy's cabin. He seems to be the only nice person who cares about Ziggy at this point. He proposes a better idea for Ziggy to get revenge on her bullies. Cindy and her group find hollowed out graves. Then they find an abandoned cabin with a cellar that has a tunnel system. They find a ritual site with the witch's mark from the book. Alice looks worried and shows Cindy a wall full of names of previous Shadyside killers. Then Tommy's name appears. Tommy is then possessed and murders Alice's boyfriend. Alice and Cindy end up caved in the tunnel system. They then have to navigate the tunnels if they want to escape. Tommy is now on the loose as the campers are playing their camp game. Ziggy gets revenge on her bully with Nick's help, locking the bully in the bathroom with a bunch of bugs. We then see Cindy figure out the witch's symbol is the same as the tunnel system. They figure out it's a map of the tunnel system. We then see Tommy kill one of the campers on his rampage. Meanwhile, Ziggy and Nick are having a romantic moment in the reptile exhibit room and are falling for each other through their mutual interests and sharing their personal life stories with each other. They end up kissing, then are interrupted by screams. The campers then know that a killing has happened. Alice then gets freaked out in the tunnels and breaks her ankle. The campers are trying to round everyone up in the dining hall. Ziggy then quickly realizes that she has to get her bully out of the bathroom that she locked her in. Tommy then kills his next victim on his rampage. Cindy patches up Alice's ankle in the tunnel. Cindy sees the red moss and figures out that it leads to the outhouse. Tommy is continuing to kill the campers. Ziggy then opens up the outhouse and finds Cindy and Alice under the floor. Tommy appears and Ziggy runs away and meets up with Nick in the reptile room. Then she leaves the reptile room and tries to find help as she sees the counselor drive away on a bus with the remaining campers inside. Ziggy then goes to the dining hall while Cindy finds a way out the tunnel from under the floor of the dining hall. Ziggy fights Tommy and puts a bag over his head. Cindy escapes from the tunnels and stabs Tommy multiple times. The sisters are reunited. Alice climbs up the tunnel as well. Alice found the hand of Sarah Fier in the tunnel which can lift the curse. Ziggy touches the hand and sees visions. Then Tommy comes back to life and kills Alice. Killers from the past begin to reanimate and come after them. Ziggy and Cindy try to bury the witch's hand, but Cindy gets murdered and Ziggy gets stabbed multiple times. They lay soaked in blood on the grass, but somehow Ziggy survives. It was due to Cindy sacrificing herself for her sister, because right before she dies, she tells the killers to let her sister live and take her instead. We then find out the survivor from the past telling Deena and Josh the story is Ziggy. Nick tells the cops that it was just Tommy that's gone crazy and doesn't mention the witch or town curse. Deena then asks if the hand is still buried under the tree, and they go to the mole where the tree is and they find the witch's hand. Ziggy calls Nick and says it's an emergency. Deena then buries the hand with the skull from the car crash site from the previous part. We then see Deena's spirit time travel to the past in Sarah Fier's body to relive Sarah Fier's life in 1666. We then see a short preview of the final part of the Fear Street series. I enjoyed watching Fear Street 1978. I feel that the characters' performances were really well executed, and the time period it was set in was captured faithfully. I definitely prefer this movie over the first part. I would recommend this movie to anyone that enjoys horror and slasher films based on different time periods.